$50 each. Going forward, Hasbro scaled back the production of Titans to lesser numbers, especially, not having a Toys R Us to quote unquote count on to help move some of that inventory. Not having Predaking turn up through those channels to me is more surprising because it didn't seem like that would have enough lead time to modify the quantities.
Oh,
and Toys R Us died right in the middle of Predaking being released.
We never did see Predaking in Ollie's.
No,
I forgot about that.
Which is for the best, because if I had seen it for $50, I might have been tempted to get it, even though I hate it.
Right.
Well, you hate it, so you got to buy it.
Yeah, but that would have predated the shirt.
But Chris, you've got him. You do have him.
Yeah, I didn't say I didn't.
I thought you were just joshing me.
Nope.
No,
he's Chrising you.
Is that like edging or whatever edging is?
No, Don. No, it's not.
Gosh.
Hey, Brian, are you gonna title the show after that?
Well, what was it? I missed it.
Oh, you're glad you missed it.
Yeah. Normally, don't do it after pre-show.
Don wanted clarification if what XV was talking about was similar to edging.
Oh. Hey, so guess what? Guess what?
It wasn't.
So, like I said, I have a minor grail. Chris is going first. He blows everybody away.
Did your thing come?
Well, the thing that's coming, which is a major grail,
okay.
It says it's out for delivery in Atlanta.
Oh.
That's I understand this is all personal preference, and I think mine is the best.
But fortunately, you don't decide the sequence.
Yeah.
No. I'm not arguing the sequence. I'm not even arguing that other people may agree.
So Brian,
I know it.
Yeah. So Brian did not get the thing that they sent him.
Hopefully, I'll have it like in a couple of days.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I thought my Seekers were going to come today, but they have not.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought you already had them.
No.
I thought he did too, honestly. Yeah, Diecast, your thing is awesome. Your thing is genuinely, is genuinely, amazingly awesome. But there's a real one on the way after the fact, which sort of negates a little of the awesomeness that one would carry.
For some people, yes.
I mean, if it's what I'm thinking of, like, on some levels, I probably would prefer the version Diecast has because of some of the choices made in its design.
Mm-hmm.
I would still not own either one of them, but if I either was going to or was forced to pick between them, I would actually probably go with the third-party option this time. We can talk more about that as a thing during the show when he's talking about it, if you want to have that content.
Sure.
I mean, it fits, so.
Yeah.
If it fits, it ships.
So, let's see, probably by next week's show, hopefully, I'll have Seekers.
Me too.
Matt will have Seekers. Rob will have Seekers.
Hopefully I will, too.
So I think today John's the only one with Seekers.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wake up at 5 in the morning to order them online, though. That's just...
I'm up at 6:45, and then
that's later than 4.
I know, but I'm saying for the subsequent ones. Well, sometimes I get 4 because whatever.
I'm sorry, I just can't. Whenever people say subsequent, it just hurts my heart.
I'm sorry. I'm very tired, Ryan. I apologize.
No, Don. I'm sorry.
I'm just sometimes anyway. But I mean, I've been like in the bathroom, taking getting ready, brushing my hair, brushing my teeth. I'll come back, and in that span of 5 minutes, I got a text, and they're gone.
Well, okay, so Don, the thing is, by the time you get the text or the email or the push notification, it's already too late.
Right.
Yeah.
I've cracked the code for Target's website, which is how I've been able to order 5 of them so far.
Holy crap.
Damn.
Yes, well, they're all being responsibly rehomed. I'm not scalping any of them.
No, I know. I had no inkling in my head that you were Dononomicsing them.
I'm not. I'm not. I'm moving them at cost to people who
See,
like,
the thing is,
John cannot
Like Santa Claus.
because I work during by the time I go on a break between 10, 11, 11:30, quarter to 12, that everything is all pretty much all said and done, and I can't be on my phone at work. So I mean,
Right.
so unless I happen to be up, either Massey gets me up, or I have to get up and pee or something, I won't be up because I have to sleep.
Do they like sell out in minutes?
So,
Seconds.
okay, do you remember, I think last week Don was talking about, he had a conversation with the toy lady at his local Target about how sometimes the stuff is sourced from local stores to ship out for the website orders. So additional investigation and conversations seem to corroborate that. So what's happening, as far as I've been able to tell from my observations and what I've been hearing from other people who are trying to keep on top of this, the times that the website is getting inventory in stock is corresponding to when you will see new stores or different stores pop up on Target's inventory tracker as having stock on hand.
When should I be checking?
I can't tell you what time to first check because it's never quite the same. The earliest I've seen is 3:05 a.m. Central Time, so 4:05 for you, but it can start as late as like 6.
Okay.
So what you want to do is have the thing set up where it sends you the notification for the first time. Ideally, you'll get that, or you'll see it right when that comes, and then half an hour from then, or a little bit less, you go to the product page and you start refreshing. It's easiest to do on desktop because, fast refresh on a phone, especially if you're using the Target app, is not the easiest thing. And then once it does come in stock, you have less than 2 minutes to run an order through. So if you don't have a payment method saved, it's not going to work because you're going to take longer doing that than the inventory is going to last. But it seems like, when a store scans in a new case of them, it will briefly become allotted for purchase on the website. So that's why it seems like there's only 3 or 4 of them at a time going through, and they go immediately because there is just 3 or 4 of them going at a time.
That's crazy.
It is. I don't think this is the way that they're meaning to distribute this online. This is just a quirk of how Target system can work, not how it's intended to work.
Yeah. The problem is I don't know why. I mean, I've been very patient with all the other Target exclusive. I've waited, and I've been very lucky, getting what I have. But for some reason, with my local Target not having stocked anything Earthrise for 6 months, except for Grapple and Starscream until that end cap was done, plus all the stuff on the website. This exclusive, I have not been this PO'd with an exclusive in a very long time, and it's just really it's irking me more than any exclusive has had in a while. And I've got a set coming from John, and I'm just so glad. Now if my store ever gets them in, I can pick them up for other people. But for some reason, this is just bugging the absolute hell out of me more than any other exclusive in the past memory.
I mean, I was certainly getting pretty annoyed with it before I cracked the pattern and was able to actually start ordering them.
I mean, I know it's an exclusive. I know it's lower production runs. But it should not be this hard to give a company $60.
I don't even think it's a production run problem right now. Also, Don, you might want to change position a little bit. I think you're in the path of your fan.
I think it's just early. It's early.
It's
in
early,
the life cycle of the product.
So basically, what we're theoretically waiting for is Target's actual, I don't know if it's exactly centralized, but their specific online distribution centers to get the bulk of the inventory in and start fulfilling the orders the normal way. Right now what we're seeing is the normal trickle into stores, which if the website was not processing those as being available to order for home delivery, we wouldn't know the difference. We would just know that, stores all over the place are starting to get in some on the shelves, and we would be like, why the hell doesn't the website have these for us to order yet? That store is 400 miles away.
But it's kind of frustrating on the fact that, now the stores aren't going to get them in, or they're getting them in, but they're automatically going to web orders.
A lot of the time, yeah. Just today, several stores in Nashville were showing positive inventory numbers. So it looks like some, have gotten through here without being diverted.
Yeah. And here's the thing.
I don't think that for the entire amount of time the store has those on hand, they're available for website order. I think there is a brief period from the time they get scanned off the truck and then scanned again to be put out on the shelf for normal stocking. Because if you're doing a website order for local pickup, that's one thing, because then somebody can just go out to the shelf, grab that off, and put it in the back somewhere. They're not going to accept an order for home delivery from inventory that's on the store's shelf already, because by the time somebody gets out there to pick that, it could be gone, and then they've got a little logistics problem to deal with.
Yeah.
So I think that's another part of why there's such a limited span of time to actually place an order on the website right now when they do come into stock. But once they get out there, they're there for local consumption first. Sorry, Don, I'll let you talk.
Oh, no, that's fine. No, the thing is, I'm dreading is that not only are we having to go through this for Skywarp and Thundercracker, we've got that Ironhide set coming up.
And that's Amazon.
And, that's Amazon? Okay. And they talked about the possibility of the Coneheads being a Target exclusive. That's the last I heard.
I think it's just speculation right now.
Oh, well, I know, but I'm saying though, because my theory, I mentioned this on Twitter last week. My theory is that Thrust will be the standalone because Dirge and Ramjet are similar enough in design that they make more sense going in a 2-pack than having Thrust and Dirge or Ramjet. It just seems to make more sense to have the unique mold being a larger production run because there's probably more work being done on him as an individual figure than Thrust and Ramjet and Dirge, which you would have enough shared engineering and probably shared parts that you'd have a better economy of scale with those two figures being packed together in the same production run.
I think they designed all three at once, so it doesn't even matter.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's just what I was thinking, is that Thrust is going to be the standalone, and Ramjet and Dirge will be the set.
Couldn't they do a 3-pack since they already did that for Target last year?
Yeah, I thought that would be a good theory. One of the inventory data dumps from Toys R Us Canada had Thrust as an individual thing.
Yeah, and it just seems like with the three Siege Seekers being the exact same mold and everything the same other than the color, then. And with that doing not as well on the back end after the initial rush, then it was just seemed to me they would try to get some economies of scale on the two figures that's in the set, since they can't do 3, to get even better mileage out of the.
Well, you have to think of it more in the. Hang on, I'll address this in a second. I just want to answer Prime Bricks in the chat. So he asked if Scorponok has blast effects included, and yes, it comes with basically a copy of Jetfire's blast effects, which I think Skylinks also has very similar blast effect parts. So I think Hasbro realized at some point that these were the best ever, and now just they're putting them in as many things as they can. So what you have to consider, Don, with the Seekers is that, all of it is done at one time. So when they made Starscream, they were also already planning Skywarp and Thundercracker and all the alternate parts to do the Coneheads. All of that happened at the same time in the same development cycle. And from there, it's just a matter of figuring out, okay, so which of these goes into which package and goes into a package with which other toys. So all the economics of it was all rolled together when everything was developed in that one pass at the start. So it doesn't matter going from that point how they produce these, as long as they produce one of each of them.
Right. Well, I was just looking at from the standpoint that they're designed at the same time, but they're being run at different times.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. Because
Yeah, but
I mean,
I'm saying,
aside from slight variances in mass from one wing shape to the other, a piece of plastic is a piece of plastic.
right. Well, the way I'm again, tell me if I'm wrong, but the way I've always thought
You're
of it
probably
is
wrong.
okay. But like, if they ran Thundercracker and Skywarp 4 months ago, when oil was a certain price, when everything was price set X to make these figures, now you're running Thrust, Dirge, and Ramjet 4 months later, 5 months later, whatever the case may be, your materials cost may have changed.
It doesn't work like that.
Not much.
It's not. Yeah,
That's something, that would be built into the
years.
accounting. That's built into the accounting in any case. They
Okay.
allow for variances in that, which
Fluctuation.
they should average out over a long stretch.
I mean, given that the market has been slightly insane for the last 6 months or so, there's probably things they couldn't fully account for. But it's also too late to do anything about that, so they just kind of have to roll with it, I would think.
But if you look at it this way, oil's been cheap. If oil is always the driving factor of plastic cost, then
It's shipping.
Yeah, and that's been a
shipping
thing.
has been
I
crazy.
guess
I don't know about
Design, shipping, it all goes together. It's
It's
not
a very
just shipping.
complex thing, Don. You know,
Oh, yeah.
it's just, you know, it's a bunch of different factors at play.
Yeah, with shipping, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how much bulk shipping has been affected, but it's definitely been affected.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, you ship bulk, and then you got to ship skull, and then you got
I
a
was
whole new set
expecting
of
that.
parameters.
So I'm glad. So Kim this weekend was diagnosed with strep throat, not COVID.
No.
So just a matter of days before I have it. So I'm glad things timed out that I can do the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Brian's just already admitting defeat.
Yeah,
2020, the year of yay, it's only strep throat.
only strep throat.
Did she have
The
to
year
get
they-
the COVID test where they stuck the thing all the way up to her brain?
They did a strep test first.
Oh,
That's good.
Yeah, that's when they just stick a swab all the way down your throat till they hit your
Well, they
innards.
did a flu test, then they did a strep test.
strep tests aren't that bad.
No,
Well, it's like it depends on who does it, because if I've had it done before, it's like they're trying to get to China through my esophagus. It's like, you know, geez, you know, you can not try
So
to get out the
that's
other
where
end.
Taobao is.
Yes.
Taobao. I have a story about that.
You
sure you do.
always.
Picture it, China, 2020.
Oh.
man, I wish my thing had come today. So at least I would have it.
Yeah.
Is that for the show? Were you saving it for the show?
I'll do it next week when I hopefully have it.
Oh, okay. So it'll be a secret until you have it.
Except for those who don't know. Or for
All
those
right.
who know.
I dig it.
Yeah.
I think my surprise showed up on Thursday, which typically everything shows up on Thursday.
What was
for
your
me,
surprise?
So the thing we're going to talk about.
That's not a surprise. Everybody knows you had it.
Not everybody.
Everybody
Yeah, I mean, only
in this
dozens of
hemisphere.
people watch this video.
Yeah, yeah. The 5 people that watched the video. know
Way
about
fewer people watched that one, though, than I expected. As I checked.
I know.
I don't know why.
I watched it, surprisingly enough.
I don't know.
Yeah, pal, I haven't seen. Well, again, my local Walmart only has deluxe. It has the $14 Cyberverse and then the deluxe Cyberverse, but only wave 1. They have nothing else, and my Target only has the Wreck and Ruin wave. So
If everything was a Netflix deluxe preview video, that would be awesome.
I wonder when we're going
I
to
should look at the show notes.
I wonder when we're going to get the Wave 2 Netflix figures.
Probably not until at least the fall, and I'm thinking more like winter.
who was wave 2 again?
We don't know for sure.
Yeah, we had that list from
Cheetor.
ATT.
Oh, all right. That's right.
Cheetor.
That's right.
Yeah,
the only
yeah,
one I
Cheetor
remember.
seemed to be
That's right.
part of that.
Oh, and diecast. I don't want to denigrate your thing. It is amazing. It's just that XVs is not released, which makes it like what is it? Forbidden fruit. But it didn't come. But yours
They're
did.
both awesome in different
God, they're
ways.
both amazing. Yeah. So Chris, yours didn't come like in a big baggie, did it?
It did not. That
So
would
it's-
have been hilarious, though.
But it's like a
Was
legitimate
it missing
source.
a wheel?
Yeah, no, like retail packaging and everything.
Good. Okay.
Like all the stuff I bought came to me from sources in the United States.
And it wasn't missing a wheel.
No.
Unspecific. Hey, so Swift brought this up in Discord. So the blast effects, he put out a warning to us, and it seemed to be kind of true when I, in a panic, yanked everything out of Jetfire. But I guess he was saying if you leave the blast effects in the toys for too long, they basically melt and bond with the plastic, or they
I could
can.
absolutely see that.
I
Um,
had
so-
that
I've
problem
had
with
mine in
my-
forever.
I had that problem with my Marvel Universe figures. They bonded to the figures, and even if I just left them in the box with the figures, they love to bond to and tear off anything that had metallic paint.
All right, so
My decoys
So,
melted to my shelf once.
Revenge of the
Yes.
Fallen Bludgeon has a similar problem where the tank tracks will melt the surrounding plastic, and that it has to just be too much plasticizer to get that rubbery consistency, and it's leaching into the surrounding plastic and
Oh,
distorting it.
the plasticizer is one of my favorite Transformer subline.
That's a problem, man. That problem goes way back. Years ago, I got the 30th anniversary GI Joe Sailor with the scuba gear, and that melted and bonded to the figure over a period of
Wow.
years.
Oh, hey,
So-
Rob. Oh, did you see that Big Bad has the Gundam Universe figures on sale?
I did pick one up that's in my pile of loot last time they
Oh.
went on sale. I'll have to see what's on sale this
Yeah.
time though, and see if there's anything else I'm looking for.
I
But
think.
thank you.
Yeah, I think the Barbados and Death Side wave, the
hell is
new
this?
wave is.
I'm gonna
So,
show this on my
Chris,
video. Just checking
we
Big
don't-
Bad.
We don't
Oh.
have
Kind of nifty.
the exhaust and
Yeah,
what's that other thing?
Grease
Oil
pit.
grease
Grease
pit in the notes to talk
Yeah.
about. So is that something I can ask a question about now?
Why don't you wait a few minutes to ask questions about those?
Okay.
Yeah,
I wish
'cause
this was a little bulkier. It'd be like the Mark Gruenwald Death of Captain America. I would buy that.
where he got that ridiculous looking armor.
Yeah, I would buy that.
Oh,
That was
Okay.
that was Mark Gruenwald's last Captain America story.
oh, okay. So I just didn't like the armor. It just didn't look right. That's where the super soldier serum was supposedly.
It was extracted
Destabilized.
from him. I think it was extracted. Well, destabilized. Some of so let me backtrack. So there was some that was taken from him, and when he was when his body was cloned to make a new Red Skull, but that wasn't why he was. The blood was taken. Well, never mind. But yeah, the super soldier serum I think went unstable, and I think they had to remove it to save his life, if I remember right.
Matt, you all right?
comics.
I'm at.
Oh,
You'd buy that
did you see-
cat. You'd buy that Cap figure too, wouldn't you, Matt? The
If it
armor.
was Marvel Legends, probably.
Yeah.
You know, I'll be the weird one, but I'd rather have an American Dream figure.
No, I know you would.
We know you're the weird one, Don.
If you paint it in U.S. Agent colors, I'd absolutely buy it.
An American Dream in U.S. Agent colors.
No,
Sure.
no. You know, I'd buy a whole gift set of Avengers.
A-Next.
Avengers A-Next. Yeah, I liked the MCT universe. I really did. It was all the fun without the baggage.
You're right. I love Spider Girl. I really did.
Yeah.
My name is
I mean,
May.
it was like
Mayday
it
Parker.
was like reading Spider-Man, but you didn't have all those years of baggage you had to sort through every issue. and it was just May being Spider-Girl.
Actually, I'll be honest with you. Like reading Spider-Man in the early to mid '90s, when it was so thick with backstory and characters that, why is Molten Man hanging out here? Just all sorts of stuff like that. I enjoyed that.
Well, see, that's why I liked reading Scarlet Spider after the Clone Wars was initially over, and he was working in the coffee shop, and it was kind of getting back to basics with Ben Reilly taking over the whole Spider-Man thing, and he was still wearing the hoodie and everything, and that's when I was enjoying reading Spider-Man. It was a back to basics. He was poor. He was working a minor job, but he was trying to be Spider-Man. And
the first issue of Spider-Man I bought was Spectacular Spider-Man 191. It had the Rhino on the cover. And it had, if I'm not mistaken, it has Molten Man walking around in it wearing a sweater. And
he wasn't warm enough?
I don't know. But I just didn't understand it, and I didn't understand why Harry Osborn was the Green Goblin. But I loved that period of Spider-Man, even if it was bad.
But you went back and found out, didn't you?
Yeah, I sure did.
And see, people aren't willing to do that anymore, so Marvel just starts everything over with a brand new number one every 25 issues, and that's why I don't care about comics anymore.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Well, the thing now again, this is just me being me, but one thing I would like to see that they could easily work into the second end of the Spider-Verse is they could work in the Slingers easily. They could easily work that into that, and then if they wanted a Spider-Man adjacent movie like Venom but good, then they could maybe have a Slingers movie.
I love you, Don. You're awesome. It's not so far-fetched that it couldn't happen because crazy stuff has happened, but that would be pretty crazy.
I mean, with all of the Spider-Man adjacent characters, I'm sure Slingers is exactly what
Slingers was awesome.
Thinking.
Slingers was awesome. All 12 issues of it.
I know I have very odd tastes. I know.
No, Slingers is great. No, Slingers was fantastic. It really was. Yeah, for all 12 issues it lasted.
I'm not giving you crap for liking Slingers, Don. I'm just saying what movie studios want to branch out. They're going to go for the ones that people know, and Spider-Man has a lot.
Okay, I got four words for you. Guardians of the Galaxy. How many people other than us geeks knew anything about Guardians of the Galaxy?
I didn't know a thing about that version of Guardians of the Galaxy. I knew about the real version of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right. So, I mean, they've done it once with Guardians of the Galaxy, and they took an almost unknown
Marvel Studios did it, but the problem is Sony owns the rights to all the Spider-Man characters.
For now.
Well, yeah.
When Sony goes under, it all reverts back to Disney.
But here's a thought that I've had this thought in the back of my head ever since all this happened. Marvel owns the rights to Circuit Breaker, not Hasbro.
Yeah, we know this, Don. This is a topic of conversation every 4 episodes.
I'm just saying, they could have Circuit Breaker appear in one of the Marvel movies, and it would be totally legit, because she's a Marvel character.
They absolutely could.
Yeah. They also could have the Pope.
This podcast likes to reset every 4 episodes.
We do. Circuit Breaker, drink! Yes.
I've pitched doing a new number 1 for RFC
we talked about it
in the past.
Oh, a Neo Knights movie. Oh, that could be so cool. That really could be cool.
Don, you should get together with Carl Vollmer and do a Neo Knights podcast.
Yeah.
Also, Don, you might want to be mindful of where your head ends up at various points during the podcast. You keep getting in the path of the fan and making a low rumble, and Kilby's going to die inside.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Where's Massey to attack you when we need him?
He's being a good boy right here, aren't you?
That won't last.
You being a good boy? You being my good boy?
My cat has quickly learned that if she hears me downstairs and she runs downstairs, she'll get treats. So, like, if she hears me come home, she runs downstairs. Or if she hears me, she hears me in the morning get up and go downstairs before I leave for work, she runs downstairs.
Neo Knights is that Lego thing, right?
It sure is.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Oh, that's talking routine.
Okay, let's do this, I guess.
Yes.
Start recording.
This
here.
is also our JD episode, correct?
Oh, you son of a gun! I even have it on my calendar to remind me.
Yeah, it popped up on my phone like as an alert,
Like
on
for the
Monday.
past month. Yeah.
Well, it's like Monday. That's time to record.
Well, I've gotten to the
Like,
point where we mention it. We don't spend the whole episode on it. So
right.
Yeah.
right.
yeah, I'm glad you mentioned it. So thank you. Which also means this is the 11th anniversary of our constant return.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
So
well.
thank you for mentioning that diecast. It's on my calendar and I just completely forgot about it.
No problem.
Yeah. Okay. 3, 2, 1. This is Radio Free Cybertron, episode 681. I am Brian Kilby. With me this week, we have Diecast, and he and I are wearing the same shirt, just in different color. And I'm like 3 sizes bigger than he is, but you know, it's neither here nor there.
I'm catching up.
Yeah.
It's not a competition, you guys.
No, it's not. 2020. The shirt.
I've been
I'm Chris.
listening. I've been listening to previous episodes of Get the Skinny, and it's telling me where to go to get fast food. So
Pretty much it. There's
We're
also
still talking about doing the patron premium fast food special podcast.
you guys have any free time this weekend?
I do.
Let's figure something out. We did so that was Chris. There's also
Hi.
Don and Rob
Hi.
and Matt and John just BRB'd. So it was 2 months ago that we did our last live stream. Let's do that maybe or something. We'll figure something out. We need to do it. We actually posted some of that content. We posted a lot of patron content this weekend. There's a new Toy Detectives that was just posted that was great. I really enjoyed that.
That's good.
Yeah,
I worry about those.
I really enjoy it. It has a different vibe, which is what I like going for with that stuff. We also posted a new episode of RFC Throwback. This one is it's actually a conversation that we had from that live stream about toy collecting tips. So, and of course we, each week we have our patron exclusive pre and post show podcasts and stuff like that. So a lot of stuff for patrons this week, and that would be one that I would love to record. Of course, right now I'm just stuffed with Chinese food for dinner.
Ooh, I haven't had Chinese food in a
Some
while.
fried wontons.
Yeah, I'm kind of jealous because the good Chinese takeout place around here, I think, fell victim to the coronavirus and is just not a thing anymore.
Oh, my.
That sucks.
Hopefully I'm mistaken about that and it just looks bad inside right now
Yeah.
for unrelated reasons.
I wish you guys would come up my way because I have a really good Chinese buffet near me.
Well,
Well, Diecast, you should come here when things are better, and we'll all go to Sushi Train, which besides being a sushi conveyor belt, all you can eat thing, has all kinds of Asian buffet staples that you can order.
So,
all you can eat.
I
too.
would argue that Diecast may have had a great buffet. I don't know how many buffets are coming back, but Sushi Train will probably live forever.
Yeah, Sushi Train is still operating. I looked into it. They're not doing.
Does the
dining
train
room
work
service.
now?
Well, it did the last time I was there, but they're not doing dining room service now. But they are doing, to go order sushi and stuff.
The
So
train
they're-
wasn't
they're
working
keeping-
when we were there.
Yeah, that was. What year was that? Was that 2017?
2017. Maybe January 2018.
Well, no, it was like March or April. It was around the same time the first Titans Return box set came out because we went to a Toys R Us.
No, that's
after
right.
Sushi
I was a little
Train
afraid of that Toys R
because-
Us.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm familiar with the area, so I knew I wasn't most likely leading you to a stabbing death.
Okay. Hey,
Now, I could have chosen another Toys R Us to go to where that would have been more likely if that's the experience you had wanted, but you didn't specify beforehand.
nope. So, Diecast reminded me, and I feel terrible because I literally have this on my calendar so I don't forget it, each year, on the anniversary of our regular return. So, for those who don't know, RSE has been around for over 20 years now, but only 11 of those years have been in constant production.
Only, he says.
I know, only.
Only.
There are several years when we only did maybe 1 or 2 episodes. And I think there was 1 year where we didn't record a single episode, but I think there's only one.
What was it, like 2006?
2008, 2000. I think there's only 1 year where we didn't record even one. There was 1 year that we recorded one that didn't get posted. That is in our archive.
Brian was in the gym that whole year.
No, that was
2000. No, that was 2005.
That was 2005. Yeah. And 6.
Why 2005?
Why 2005? But so we were regular for a few years, then very sporadic for 4 or 5 years, which seemed like
fiber.
Yeah, which seemed like it was way longer than it was. But it was really like 4 or 5 years that we were sporadic. But JD Church, our buddy, convinced us to come back on a full-time basis because he wanted to be a podcaster back in June of 2009. So the end of the last podcast of June or in early July, we celebrate that with JD's memory. Thank you, JD, for all this. If it wasn't for actually, if it wasn't for JD, we wouldn't have this here. But also, if it wasn't for this here, we wouldn't have JD. I mean, in the sense that no, seriously, in the sense that Chris, you probably knew JD like barely back in the 90s, and John probably knew him barely. But through the podcast, we all really came to know and love the guy, and he was such a huge, important part of our lives. And, if it wasn't for, the podcast, and he was a huge, important part of, listeners' lives. I mean, it was a huge loss, but, we take this time each year to just remember JD and thank him for helping, thank him and curse him for making all this possible.
I mean, like, I can't speak for all the rest of you, although I imagine it's probably true to some degree. Like, I know me, Hey Mickey, probably Paladin too. Literally, there is some of JD living in our head all the time. That's how much of an influence he had through, week on, week off of week in, week out of podcasting, sometimes twice a week during those periods when he would actually be on both RFC and my show. He liked my show better, though, so he mostly just favored that. Yeah, he told me that straight out many times.
I don't doubt it.
Because I would just let him go.
Yeah. I reined him in. That was my job.
Yeah.
God, except I let him host. I don't know why I ever let him host.
I know why you let him host.
Great shows.
I know why you let him host. He was able to stream.
Mm-hmm. There you go. He had fast internet.
Yeah.
When there wasn't a, tornado.
Oh, that one episode when he ran away because of the tornado and he left the stream going. Or the recording going, yeah.
Yeah, it happened on Superhero Time.
Yep, I listened to that. That was awesome.
Yeah. Everybody else was kind of distressed by that, but,
Yeah. Yeah, his cats, Ravage and Pollux, they're still around, best I can tell from Amanda's Facebook. Yeah, we miss JD. He was awesome.
He even cooked eggs for us once.
Was that the night that I told him which phone he wanted?
No, you told him which phone he wanted when we were at Burger King somewhere between Texas and Oklahoma City.
Oh, I thought that was at his house. Okay.
No, so he cooked the eggs the morning we left his house to go to BotCon.
That was fun.
Yeah.
God, I've never been so tired in my life as driving home that night. 19
I felt
19
bad
hours.
about that after the fact.
19 straight hours.
Wow. Yeah, I'll never forget the conversation you had with Fort Max over the directions.
Yeah. Or running into Fort Max at BotCon.
Yeah, JD and Fort Max really had a special relationship.
Yeah.
It really was the best of times in podcasting for me, I have to admit.
It was. Yeah. Well, thank you, JD. You're awesome. What? Let's see here. Let's just go ahead and jump to what we got this week. There's like dueling amazingly awesome stuff. I give Chris the edge.
There's dueling amazingly expensive stuff.
Yeah. I give Chris the edge because his is not officially released
generally
yet.
Available.
Yeah, but I have something coming next week, and if it was what it costs, I would have won or lost depending on how you look at it.
And if that had actually come, I would have encouraged you to go first because it's so different and special.
We'll see. Yeah,
It
so
would not have taken anything away from what I had
No,
because it's
no.
something in a completely different realm. So, like, I would have absolutely encouraged you to celebrate that first.
No, I'm excited
Which
about
is easy enough for me to say since you don't have it, and I don't have to actually let you go first. But
Yeah, I'm excited though. But Chris will go first, then Diecast, and whoever. And I've got a couple things. I actually have what I describe as a minor grail that I wanted to talk about, but I admit my minor grail doesn't compare to the Unicron or what Diecast got. Sorry, or what Chris got.
Spoilers.
People follow him on Twitter at Diecast2.
I know. All right, so elephant in the room, almost literally. I got Earthrise Scorponok.
Nice.
Yeah, so Don,
did it come in a big bag?
You're having reaction.
It didn't.
No, it did not come in a big bag. I wish it had come in a okay, so it kind of came in a big bag because when they deliver stuff here, we have a locked gate across the driveway, and they usually will leave packages just inside the gate, and they will put them in big plastic bags to protect them in case of, dogs coming by to pee on them or something. So, yes, technically, it was in a big plastic bag, but within that bag was a shipping carton and retail packaging, so it was not like a Taobao special like Diecast Titans Return Deluxes that time, which is where the reference comes from for those who have not been around with the podcast for the last 5 years.
And there might have been, people getting other Scorponok's that people joked came in a big bag.
Was there?
Yeah, never mind. Let's move along.
Okay. Scorponok's probably the best Titan class figure they've done.
Of course you say that. You have it. We don't.
No, but okay, so compare the experience of Metroplex or Fortress Maximus to Omega Supreme. Omega Supreme was distinctly better as a toy handling experience than either of those two previous ones. Scorponok is again better than Omega Supreme. They took all of those learnings that went into Omega Supreme to make that a good giant action figure, and they made it better. The only problem I have with this copy, and it's not going to be something that's systemic, it's just this copy, the right shoulder is just a little bit loose. Just a little bit. It will still bear weight. It'll hold itself up. I could probably have it hold... Can
it hold Fortress Maximus in base mode and laugh?
If I had handy the little Tuesday morning knockoff Fortress Maximus, I'd give that a try for you, but I don't have that on hand right now. Yeah, it can totally hold up that's in frame.
Why don't I have a Headmaster's Dub Scorponok soundboard?
I don't know. I think
I've never seen that figure before.
Well, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Because Brian hates me, that's why he'll now install a Headmaster Dub.
I love you, Don.
No, it's because Brian loves the rest of us.
So I have a question.
I love
Did
all
you
of
have
you.
to spend 2 hours stickering it?
No stickers.
Oh,
no
thank
stickers.
God.
Just like Omega. Just like Omega. Also, this came up in the chat. I already answered the question there, but Scorponok does come with the blast effect part, and it's basically just like a reuse of the ones that came with Jetfire last year.
Yeah.
Which, I am not at all complaining. I love this set of blast effects. It's great for many, many applications, and I'm happy to have a third stack of these after the two Jetfire had. I think Skylynx has the same or very similar designed ones, too. So, that... A lot of people say that's the best blast effects in the War for Cybertron toy lines so far, and if you like that, you're going to have plenty of them to use on your figures. Although, John did relate a warning to us that they may be starting to melt other plastic that they are in contact with for prolonged periods, so be mindful of that.
I got to go pull them out of my Jetfire.
Yeah, I don't
question
have them
for you.
in, but what?
I thought that doesn't come out till October. Was that Omega Supreme that was October? When is he supposed to be released?
I think Omega Supreme's original date was August.
I think it was summer.
I think the earliest I've seen Scorponok listed on sale is September 1st.
Still summer.
But you have to keep in mind that a lot of that is for the purpose of making sure that as many of the retailers who are going to carry this have their inventory on hand at the same time to launch it simultaneously. Obviously, since I have this came from a US-based seller. They're out there. They're being distributed now. some store somewhere will probably start listing these before the actual on sale date, because not everybody goes along with Hasbro's on sale date mandates. But for now, I just went ahead and got this because go ahead and be done with it. It looks good. I was really looking forward to the Zarok giant headmaster figure, which, I mean, it's not super giant. It's very healthy deluxe size. It's a little bit smaller than Cerebros was, but it's a much better action figure. Let me see if I can actually transform this on the spot here. I've only transformed this a couple times, so I'm having to remember the sequence.
Hey, Chris, could you give us a ballpark about how much this might have cost?
Well, it cost retail and then some.
Okay.
I would call that a ballpark, right?
Yeah.
One good thing about Zarok is, with the stock photos, it's always been where the Scorponok horns are on the arm pieces, but the instructions actually tell you to take them off. There's tabs on the outside and slots on the backpack. Where
that's so much better.
Yeah, you can just plug it into the backpack. It holds in really securely, and then the arms are much more free. And also a detail I don't think had been noticed before. There's little hinge down pieces here. If you remember the original larger headmasters, they have what looks like either little jets or maybe blaster barrels on the wrists. And that detail is reproduced here with the bigger moving part.
Oh, neat.
So they went to some trouble to make this look and sort of feel like a classic headmaster figure, but bigger and more complex. It's actually really nice. In terms of relative size, it's basically on par scale-wise with the Titans Return Headmaster Decepticon. So, Weird Wolf, Mindwipe, Skullcruncher, it's going to look pretty much right next to them. In terms of how you would compare it to, they appeared in the Headmasters more than the Rebirth. I also did put the diecast Scorponok Titan Master from...
Diecast?
Was that in the box set, or was that with one of the later...
That was with Grotesque, I believe.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So the only problem with that is that head is heavier and the neck joint in it doesn't hold the weight well, so you kind of have to do stupid Titan Master tricks to get it to actually sit level and straight and not flop around. It will work, and it looks kind of goofy having a tiny Scorponok head on top of the Zarok body, but I'm also kind of into that because I like goofy things. For transformation purposes, Zarok's got double jointed elbows. The knees have a good range backward and forward because of transformation again. It's detailed well enough. There's a lot of, I would say, meaningless surface panel detailing on the armor pieces. But it doesn't look like it's, greebled to hell like some of the Siege stuff did. It's visually interesting, but it's also kind of subdued. So it's tasteful. Let's call it tasteful. I spent some time messing with the large body over the last few days, and the transformations are not difficult. They're a tiny bit unwieldy just for the size of it. But, the steps are pretty straightforward. I went with the instructions for the first transformations to each mode just to make sure because, it's big and heavy and expensive, and I don't want to break it or myself. All the joints besides that shoulder in this are really good. They're strong enough to hold the weight of the toy and pose solidly, but they're not a struggle to move. It's a really good balance that they've struck with this. That's part of why I say this is probably the best Titan so far, because in terms of feel, I don't think you could get better than this. And the proportions of it, I love the way the body is proportioned. It looks like just a giant normal dude where, Metroplex had weird proportions. Fortress Maximus still had weird proportions. The combiners were their own kind of problem. For my money, if this was the last Titan class figure they ever produced, they ended on a high note and, they're justified in not trying to top this ever. which kind of works out because I don't know what they would even do past this,
I don't need
aside
another.
from 3 decos.
Start over.
Yeah, no, like I've always thought that once they got through like first run characters in Titan class, they should circle back and at least redo Metroplex because, like, for one thing, I would bet anything John Warden wants a chance to have his vision of Metroplex out there as a product, because the one that came up for preceded him. That was the old design team.
Yeah, and it's kind of
it was also 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean that it definitely needs an updating at the very least.
Needs a Metro Titan.
That too.
Yes.
Yeah, so on that subject, like, as good as this feels, as happy as I am with this, like, if or when the Black Zarok version would materialize, even if it is a Takara Tomy exclusive thing like Grand Maximus was, I would seriously consider that, because this turned out so well. Fortress Maximus, I technically double dipped because I had the San Diego Comic-Con. No, that was the retail one that I had. I didn't have the Comic-Con one. And then I got the Legends one and passed on the retail one to Rob. This, I would own both versions happily, just because, like, it's great. The Scorpion mode, fortunately, holds together pretty well. There's lots of places where it will peg and tab together to be a fairly solid unit, and the base mode, less so, but that's also designed to be sat on a flat surface and not moved around because it's a base. Like any of the Titan base modes are borderline at best, and this pretty much falls into that category.
What about the spaceship Bruce mode?
No, that was Fortress Maximus.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
You should know better.
I know. I'm sorry. Just I had to say it.
So, I mean, I did pay a little bit of an early adopter premium for this. Not near as much as people probably would suspect I did. I got a good deal on it for getting it this early. And I feel perfectly satisfied with it. Like, nice. The only thing I might change is give me 2 sets of these blast effects with it instead of just 1, because, again, I love these blast effects. This was a really good purchase. I was kind of nervous about whether it would actually be that good in hand when I got it, and I'm really, really pleased.
So I found where it was being sold on eBay in hand from New York for what I consider a very reasonable price. So, hey, maybe the one will show back up.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So that's not the only thing I got. Before we move on from this, there is a little bit of parts forming with Scorponok. The shoulder cannons have to be popped off, and they switch sides between modes.
Mine with guns, that's fine.
Yeah, the shield has to come off and move around. These panels on the legs are part of the shield. And you have to pop those off and move them around to different places. It's minor part forming, but, like, for the most part, it's all integral transformation. It's also a little bit bigger than Omega Supreme, which is a little bit of a problem for me because it's just bigger enough than Omega Supreme that I don't think it's going to fit on my shelves where I expected it to fit. So that's going to be a storage challenge for that. So it's a little bit bigger than Omega and a little smaller than Fortress Maximus. But, it's very on par Titan size with, like, the best of what we've gotten. So, no real downscaling with this.
Great.
Yeah. So, also this week, I was able to get the new Generation Selects that aren't even announced yet, Grease Pit and Exhaust. I should point out that this exhaust has the Nanaf Productions upgrade parts for exhaust on already, so the big wings and shoulder launchers don't come with it.
Oh, those wings look nice.
Yeah, so this upgrade kit was offered about 6 weeks ago as a speculative early release for exhaust. And I just went ahead and bought it then. At the time, I thought I was going to be waiting most of the year to have the toy that they went with. But no, it just turned out to be less than 2 months, which is weird.
Now, do you think they're going to be announced on Friday?
I thought they were going to be announced last Friday, so I don't really know it.
I honestly forgot that they weren't.
That would be a safe bet to assume that they would have been announced last Friday, because last Friday we got two Generation Selects that aren't available till October.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that in the news because I've got some observations on that a little bit. But these went up on eBay from various sellers at different price points. So these, I got these from the cheapest seller I saw, which was the first one. And I figured this out to help justify this to myself. What I ended up paying for these is only about $4 more total than I would have paid for them, getting them from Entertainment Earth, which I probably would have done normally because Entertainment Earth usually has them in stock first, what with being in California and all. So, that plus sales tax and the shipping I would have paid for from Entertainment Earth, it's, right within the same price range. So I barely paid any markup on these. Exhaust is pretty nice. It's definitely, for me, a thing that, fills a gap in the collection. I have pictures up on my website, playwithphotography.com. There's also a few pictures at playwithphotos on Twitter. I've been, as I was doing the gallery shoot for most of last night, I was posting random samples. The deco is absolutely in the spirit of Exhaust, the Marlboro Wheeljack, the Masterpiece also, but it is also quite distinct, so it does not look like a rolling cigarette package, so Philip Morris does not come and try to destroy them again, as happened with the Masterpiece several years ago.
Oh man, I can't believe I didn't think of this before. I wonder if the misspelling on the tampograpphs is to match Marlboro.
Yeah, so that's an interesting note. The instructions and the label on the box do say Exhaust. The tampograpphs, let's see, can you read that? It says Exhaust, EXHUAST. Every name tampograph on the toy is spelled that way. So they got half right, half wrong. All the print materials are correct, and the toy spelled its own name wrong.
Amazing. Yeah.
The robot mode, like the deco variations they did to make the vehicle mode not look like Marlboro deco so much, it does not show through in the robot mode, and the robot mode looks like Exhaust, like the original Diaclone toy. It's like a very close resemblance to that. It's just when you transform it that it starts to move away from that a little bit. And for me, like, it's fine because the spirit of it is definitely there. The only thing specific from that I miss is the original deco had some little bits of green mixed in, which just gave a little bit of pop and color variation. The other thing too, like the upgrade wings I have on here are the clear blue, but what I have on the shoulders here right now is the stock spoiler / wings, and they're not even painted on the inside. They're just white plastic on both sides. So it really needed another color on it besides the white, red, and black just to give a little bit more contrast to it. It's not such a problem in the robot mode because it's distributed around pretty well, but the vehicle mode's really, really kind of one note. Mine also has a slight issue where the rivet in the knee was misfired, so there's basically no tension and it won't support any weight, so I'm going to have to get another exhaust when these do actually go up for sale. Whoops. It's funny, too. The Generation Select Lancer, which came out at about this time last year, the first one of those I got also had a bad knee problem.
Was it a baggie?
No. This wasn't in a baggie either. It was in a brown box.
How is Grease Pit's, what would you call it, Micromaster mode or base mode?
So, okay, the gas station mode uses the same platform configuration as Ironworks' primary alternate mode. It just moves around the torso piece and the crane arm a little bit differently. I probably should have had this in the gas station mode for demonstration purposes, but again, I have a gallery on my website, and the Play with Photos Twitter account has photos of the gas station up
I'm gonna
on
have
it
to check that out.
I want that so bad.
So what they did for the gas station is they added stickers onto the top of the torso piece to look like windows. These are factory stickers, and they're not the Titan's Return or Power of the Prime kind of stickers. These actually feel like they will, last some amount of time. And there's 2 new pieces they've added. So there's a little gas pump island piece that tabs into the edge of one of the planks. And in robot mode can be attached as a gun. The instructions have the gas pump pointing down, but I think it's goofier to have them up, so I leave them up because that's just how I do things. And then they included this extra in robot mode. I guess it's an armor piece. It's a sign for the gas station that's got a sticker on it with the branding for the fictitious gas station, Super Gasoline Z1 or Z1 if you're Canadian.
Nice.
Yeah. The gas station mode, despite not being super far off from what Ironworks was already doing, it reads really well as what they're trying to get it to be, which the stickers and the extra parts definitely help build that illusion and just that little bit of variance. You can put the gas pump and the sign onto Ironworks configured the same way, and I mean, it still looks like it's Ironworks laying down pretending to be a gas station, but you can still kind of, like, the silhouette is still there, and you can kind of see where they got that from. I'm honestly quite impressed with how they reconceptualized the use of these pieces and added just a little bit to it and got a pretty convincing different battle station base configuration out of it that really sells itself as what it's trying to be. So you might remember stock photos of Ironworks. There was that tower configuration that was not present in the instructions. That's in Grease Pit's instructions. So probably we're going to see something similar with other modulators that have multiple alternate base configurations. And as they do recolors, they'll distribute those through those to have them be a little bit more distinct from each other. So the options for this, besides the gas station, are the tower configuration that we saw as Ironworks once upon a time, and also kind of like a long street with a gas pump at the end, which is about as dumb looking as Ironworks' alternate configuration of a bridge made from 2 legs and 3 planks. So, I mean, you can tell at some point the designers are kind of stretching a little bit to get to an endpoint with these parts. But, like, I ended up liking Grease Pit more than Exhaust because, like I said, Exhaust is something that fills a hole in my collection. Grease Pit is something I didn't even realize I wanted until I had it. It's fun and kind of inventive, and it's different. Like, when do you get to say in life, oh yeah, that robot turns into a gas station?
Not enough.
No, not enough. That's the correct answer. Thank you, Brian. No, I'm really happy with both of these toys. I'll be happier with Exhaust when I have one that has a knee that can actually hold the thing up. Photographing that was really interesting to try to disguise the fact that it wants to fall down anytime I take my hand away from it. The plastic color difference between Exhaust and Wheeljack is kind of distinct too. So, like, this is bright, stark white, which, ironically, I think Wheeljack and Exhaust probably should have traded plastic colors. Wheeljack should have had the bright, clean white plastic, and Exhaust should be the one that looked like it lived in a smoker's house for 15 years.
Yeah, yeah.
So, part of me wonders, was that actually the intention and somebody flipped around the Pantone numbers one day, and here we are? But yeah, that's pretty much the extent of what I got. Although I do want to add one note to Scorponok. So, all the Earthrise stuff comes with the space map pieces.
Mm-hmm.
This is Scorponok's.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's probably the same amount of area as all of the map pieces we have so far from all of the toys that have been released normally. This appears to just document Unicron specifically. So, this, the big mass here is Unicron. There's the claws, teeth up there, the planetary ring. The perpendicular lines, I think these are representing the plotted course of ships passing by Unicron. And then there's several points picked out here: the Space Bridge, the Ark, the Nemesis, Quintesson. That's why I think some of these are spaceship course plots. And then one called Fool's Fortune, which I was confused by what that was supposed to mean at first until I realized like at least two of the other names on here are ship names, and Fool's Fortune definitely sounds like a ship's name. With the mercenary faction they've introduced, Fool's Fortune could be like a ship for Double Dealer or Exhaust or another character linked to that mercenary faction. But yeah, that was my what I got this week, and it was a bit expensive.
Yeah.
I almost had Seekers today on top of all of this, so I could have been talking about toys for even longer.
Wow. I don't think I can go that long with what I got, but diecast.
No, it's probably good that you can't.
You should go next.
Yeah, I got a little something.
It's a little something.
I got this little horny guy. He's got horns all over him. They're little spikes. And he is absolutely awesome. He does have a waist.
Diecast for our listeners who constitute 95% of our audience. Who do we have here?
We have Studio Cell's Unicron, which is the old Zeta design. Core Star. And he's just absolutely beautiful. He has a lot of screw covers. I still haven't figured out where they all go. I still haven't transformed him, but I did do a part 1 review that I put up on tfradio.net/reviews. So if you want to check that out. And part 2 will include transformation on this guy. And
that looks great, diecast, with you holding it in hand like that. That is, for scale, it looks phenomenal. And what I love about it is that it is not remotely bulky. It just has a nice profile to it. That looks phenomenal.
It has a very nice profile. And just he's really solid. Like he's not flimsy at all. He's super posable. He's got a lot of rotations, double joints, fingers, or can splay all the way open if you want. They're just because they're on ball joints. I mean, everything about this guy, like they put a lot of detail in it. But I will tell you, it's very interesting because you're like, wow, this was a hard figure to design. But whoever did this, and I'm not taking away from the designer, it's a very smart design in that they basically only had to make half a Unicron, and they just mirrored it. So like there is no right and left leg; they're the exact same leg. They're just mirrored, so you wouldn't even know. So they basically, if you cut the figure in half, and you take
I was thinking it's like Wing Saber. What is this? I don't get it.
Yeah, it's half of a figure, and then they just mirror it, and it makes the whole figure.
The way it seemed to me from I actually watched diecast video for once. The way it seemed to me from how he was demonstrating it, it looked like they designed this so they only had to design parts for half of a planet, which would fold up to make an arm and a leg and some part of the torso, and then they didn't need to make the opposite of that for the other side. They just used the same thing and turned it around, and it works because every part of it is symmetrical.
Yeah, it's the exact same parts.
That makes
sense.
Same
parts for the right and left side.
So like if you think about it, like instead of 100% of a tooling for a Unicron, they made 50% of a tooling for a Unicron and used it twice.
Exactly.
And saved money doing that.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. I may not have been explaining that right, but that's...
No, you probably weren't. That's why I jumped in.
100%.
That's genius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you look at the shoulders, you can tell that they're the exact same because all the points on them are the same. So on the other side, they just turned it around. So...
Okay.
Yeah. And then like all the screw holes on the left leg were on the inside, and on the right leg, They were on the outside because.
So that's why the covers, right?
Yeah, that's why the covers. And then the other thing I had a hard time in the review is it didn't look like the covers would go in all the way, but they're just a very tight fit. So I actually used a round the actual handle of the screwdriver to pop them in the rest of the way, and they kind of just popped in.
Nice.
So I was wrong about those actually like sticking out. And then the other thing I was wrong about was the waist. I didn't think it actually had an ab crunch, but it does actually have an ab crunch. I was scared to break it. So when it didn't
you should have just gone for it. I mean, you have 3 more coming in the mail, right?
That is true.
I mean,
yes.
Yeah, no, I mean, and you were recording video too.
Yeah. I love to break things on video. That's my favorite.
I think that's your audience's favorite too, Diecast.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's excellent.
So we were talking about this a little bit in pre-show, and like even I was admitting, like if I was going to buy a Unicron, which I'm not going to buy a Unicron, but if I had to pick this or the HasLab one, I probably would go with this.
That looks super nice.
It does.
For aesthetic purposes, yeah. Like, however they engineered this, I have not really watched transformations of this, and Diecast hasn't done his video about the transformation yet either. However they got this to work where they can get a sphere or most of a sphere into that clean robot shape, like that's what I would be looking for.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Something that big, I know already I'm not going to transform all the time anyway. Like Scorponok is going to be a robot 99% of the time. Sometimes it'll get transformed just for goofing around, but like, yeah, if it's going to be sitting as a robot all the time, I want it to look like that.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah.
Also, it's cheaper.
And
a little bit.
The way Diecast is holding it, it looks like it doesn't weigh too much. So it looks like it's good to manage. So that's impressive.
Yeah, so Diecast, in your video, you said you thought it was basically, like, height-wise on par with a Titan class figure. In terms of weight, how does it compare?
Right now he probably feels a little bit heavier than a Titan class figure.
Okay.
But I could be wrong. The only diecast in him is in these 2 side, like his side feet pieces that I know of, other than like the shoulder joints. But I don't really understand why they had to be diecast. I mean, I could be wrong, but they really don't seem like they add any stability. Like, the main stability on this guy is this first toe flap. Like, if you fold the toe in all the way, that first piece right there is the main stability on this figure. So as long as you have that piece flat to the floor, he'll stand no problem. And then the rest of the 2 joints here, when you unfold the foot, is basically just for show.
Interesting.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of in that case would be like maybe during their testing phase they found that if it like rolled to the side a little bit, plastic pieces as those outriggers would have a tendency to snap.
Yeah, it could
that
be.
makes sense.
But that's the only thing I can think of where there would be a logical reason behind it other than just to bury some diecast metal in there to say that it's there.
Yeah,
which I would think is probably more likely.
Also possible, but I'm just thinking back to the original Masterpiece Optimus Prime and how if you tried to get him leaning forward on his toe joint, which was plastic, it would just pop right the hell off.
Yeah.
So that may be why those are metal, just to make sure. Yeah, they will stay where they're supposed to be if you have him shifting his weight to the side any.
Yeah. And then the other thing I got is I don't have it in front of me yet. The DX9 arm, the Porsche, whatever his name is. I get them all confused.
Yeah, that's a good question.
So
Wild Rider?
One of the Motormasters, or one of the
Stunticons.
Yeah.
Dead End is the Porsche.
Dead End's
Dead
the
End,
Porsche,
okay.
so it's Dead End. So I got Dead End, and he's on my DX9 because we actually got the body for that. So it's on my, Motormaster Menasor, and he came with one leg for that little Orion packs that they're doing, like the Legend Scales figure. So I'm still a leg short of completing this Legend Scale figure, which I never thought would be a Build-A-Figure. But, apparently now we're doing Legend Scale Build-A-Figures, which is frustrating. I mean, at least it's on a set, you're going to buy all 5 for the most part. There might be the one-off set. Someone's just a big, Wild Rider fan or something like that. But, so I almost have a full Legends figure. So the only one left is Drag Strip. So we just have to wait for Drag Strip. And then we'll be all set, and we can finally finish our Build-A-Figure.
Is the leg symmetrical? Could you just buy another
figure ever?
Yes.
Sorry,
is the leg symmetrical? Could you just buy another Wild Rider and have it?
No.
No, this is Orion packs, not Unicron.
Yes.
Yeah. I really like that. That amazes me. The whole.
It's a very clever way to go about it, and just the fact that they made it work on a transforming figure that size is pretty amazing.
And it looks. Yeah. I'm impressed with how clean that robot mode looks.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
The other thing I got, thanks to my friend Nick, the toy guy, is I got Fans Toys Magnum, which is their Wild Rider. So, plenty of Stunticons this week. And I didn't even get to take this out of the box because this is the first night I've had to come down to the basement, and I was still trying to put all the horns or spikes on my Unicron and the screw hole covers, and I still have a couple screw hole covers that I'm not sure where they go. So, but I've got most
screw holes.
Yeah. I'm just not sure where those screw holes are. But
they might have just included extras diecast.
Yeah.
No, they're different. So I'm not really sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, yeah, cool. That's all I got this week.
Who else? Don. Don.
Yeah, I've got nothing to top that, so I'm not even gonna try. Friend of mine at work was going through his attic. It's off topic, and he found no Transformers, but he found the original Lightspeed Rescue Megazord Morpher.
Oh, okay.
So I haven't bought it yet because I need to put fresh batteries in it to make sure it works. But if it works, I'll be getting that from him, and I'll have a Lightspeed Rescue Morpher. Which is nice, and I stopped by Walmart.
It's not the Titanium Rangers Morpher, though.
I know, and I'm not paying.
Yeah, but Don doesn't have enough kidneys to buy one of those.
Yeah, so, but that's that, and if they ever do like a legacy version, I'll be sure to pick those up. But that, and I stopped by the Walmart today on the way home to get Masky food, and I bought the Plasma series, the 4 Ghostbusters.
Oh, nice
To go on my Ghostbusters,
nice.
and I'll be selling the Pterodog parts. Probably, I don't care about collecting the rest of this. I just want the 4 Ghostbusters, and that's it. So I'll be selling the Pterodog parts. But that's it. There's nothing has turned up. Nothing has come in. So, ta-da.
Cool. So I was going to say, I don't like taking anything off anybody. But when people find crap in their house and they want to get rid of it, and they're like, hey, I know a guy. I love it when I'm that guy. And I've been the fortunate recipient of a lot of this stuff over the last several years, so I should have taken that flipping USS Flag. I don't know why I didn't.
I plan to smack you next time I see you for that.
Please. Who else? Matt, anything?
No.
Rob?
Yeah, I got one thing. Somebody, and there was no gift slips, I don't know who, got me the Final Fantasy VII remake off of my Amazon wish list over at tfradio.net/playlist. And I am really enjoying that. That is... Okay, so I don't know how much anybody else here cares about Final Fantasy at all. But one of the problems I always had with the character designs prior to this remake, like when they did Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, is that everyone looked like a very gloomy, non-human Muppet. And not even a very good Muppet either. Somewhere in that Dark Crystal range where they do emote, but they just don't look quite right. And yeah, these actually look like people. These character models emote particularly well. And also the fact they actually bothered to match the lip sync to the English voice track is pretty impressive because they don't usually do that. And yeah, the game itself is pretty enjoyable. I did not really expect to enjoy it as much since they kind of moved it over to the modern, action RPG hybrid thing they've been doing with Final Fantasy games, and my heart is in the turn-based realm basically. But yeah, that it looks great, it plays great. I haven't gotten very far, but whoever got me that, if you are listening, thank you very much. That is a lot of fun, and I'm enjoying it.
Cool. Anything else?
No, everything else I'm getting, I think, is not showing up until tomorrow.
John, why don't you tell us what you got?
I got the Seekers. They are showing up in Targets in North Texas pretty reliably. In fact, as of this recording, probably not going to be true when you listen to this, but as of this recording, there's 2 ready for online pickup in Fort Worth, which is a city of over 1 million people. So what the heck, man? Anyway, they've been available for several days now, so I'm disappointed in our Fort Worth fandom. But anyway, get on it. So I went and picked up a couple days ago, and yes, teed up the second one for Dawn. I'll be honest with you, the only reason I got the 2 that were in stock is because I didn't want. This is irrational, but I imagined myself getting into some weird confrontation with another collector. Me reserving one, him reserving another, and there's some dust up and masks are flying and fists and hair, and I don't know. So I decided to just get the 2 that were in stock and ready for pickup, and then within 2 minutes, that location is out of stock. So anyway, I went and picked up those 2 stress-free. And Don will get his in a few days. I like them. If you haven't heard, they are a blue and a black and purple version of Starscream, more or less, if you were wondering what they look like. And I do enjoy the Earthrise mold quite a bit. And I think that these are a nicer execution of the Starscream versus Starscream. I do think they have really nice source material. Obviously, they're working with good color schemes and kind of good archetype schemes already, but they really do pull them off nice, and it's a lot more. They seem more flattering on this mold versus Starscream. So anyway, I'm enjoying them, and I did see on some of the comments on I think it was the Target product page, or it might have been a Texas sighting board, one of them, and again. You never know the credibility of stuff like this, but somebody had mentioned their street date or their on-shelf date was supposed to be the 3rd. I do not put any necessary any kind of weight into that, but it does sort of track with kind of what is happening as far as them putting up the end caps and these kind of starting to pop up online inventory, and then for stores this week definitely seems like the week where things are starting to kind of break for anything that's on that end cap. So anyway, that's really it of note, but they're cool, and I'm happy. And I got the standard version, not that weird variant where they're flipped.
Did you see both though,
or where the head is different?
No, I haven't seen both. I've only seen that one tweet that somebody had. So I don't know how prevalent that variant is, but I've certainly never seen it in the wild.
Which face does your Skywarp have?
Angry yelling face.
Okay.
All surprise face.
Yeah.
Singing face.
So I think the July 3rd date was actually originally taken from the press release information that Hasbro sent out when they revealed the Seeker set and the clones. The clones, if I remember right, are set for the 24th as their on-shelf date. So we'll probably like I don't think most of us are going to be that crazy about getting the clones as we are these seekers, because probably a lot of us already have those molds in some capacity. But in some sense, I think we're going to be starting this cycle over again with the clones in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, for sure. A quick aside too. So now that I'm watching NECA stuff pretty closely because their next wave of Target exclusive Ninja Turtles is coming out. NECA has gotten so much flack for like the floating release dates for these and Walmart exclusives. They have Ninja Turtle figures based on the 1990 movie that are Walmart exclusives. And the Target exclusives are based on the 80s cartoon. So anyway, so they're getting like a ton of just like blowback from fans on Twitter asking like, where are they? In the case of the Walmart ones, it was a hot mess when they debuted online earlier this week. They sold out in 5 seconds. So anyway,
Boy,
it was a big old hot mess. So don't take it personally. I guess it happens with all the fandoms. Anyway, they tweeted out like a release schedule for those two lines primarily, and it was interesting that they only listed Mondays and Thursdays as like official like on-shelf dates for the next 2 months for these two lines. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. Obviously, you cannot control what retail staff does, but there probably is an official like on-shelf date for just about anything. And so it was interesting that for them, it appears that in their calendars for NECA, it's Mondays and Thursdays. So interesting tidbit.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, guess it leaves just me. So we're at an hour already. So
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. So I'll just go through the dull stuff first. Interesting to me. So, I don't think anybody cares, but I had a little bit of sealed Machineware stuff, and I decided that I want to just go ahead and finish it off and get all Machineware sealed. So I have a hubcap that I got for like $5. Very pleased with that. Yeah, I know, right? So, and I saw on Twitter that Sixo had just completed it. I'm like, dang it! It's like I'm not copying you, but I did copy him. I did copy him with that yellow Magnus. I'll be honest, but I wasn't copying him there. I had an independent thought. So I also picked up. I don't know that I'll ever open it. It is so pretty though. It's still not my thing. Studio Series Sentinel Prime. My Walmart finally got it.
Oh, nice.
And it's gorgeous. It's pretty. It's a very nice looking toy. So, it's gorgeous, yeah. So, not Studio Series, sometimes the designs look great, so keeping that in the box. Kind of boring, but kind of not. Last week, I showed off the couple of the McDonald's mini bots that I got. One of them was the magenta and black Bumblebee. Now I have the magenta and black Cliff Jumper.
Ooh, that's the one that I like.
It's pretty. This one was on eBay and I didn't pick it up because I thought I had it until I took that photo of what I had, and I'm like, oh, I don't have that. So, and thanks to Spider Bob for spotting another one for me that I have on the way that we'll talk about next week. But
cool.
That one's a milestone for me. But
you're more than halfway then?
It'll help me complete one of the characters.
Oh.
Yeah. So
that's even better.
Yeah. So next week I should have 15 of 24. It's only 9 left.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, like the 9 most expensive ones. So
that tracks, doesn't it?
Yeah. So a couple things here. I'll do non-toy stuff first. I think I've mentioned this on a podcast. I know Don and I have talked about this. But when the re-release of the Transformers the movie soundtrack on vinyl came out a couple years ago, I was very pleased because a minor grail's always been the soundtrack on vinyl, the vintage one. You can get a hold of it. It's not hard to find. But I just always didn't want to spend much money on it and for what it normally goes for. I found one on eBay. And usually when I look at these, people try to sell the new one as the vintage. And it's hard for me to confirm whether or not something is the vintage one. And this one that I found happens to have a couple neat things that tell me, yes, just from the auction, yes, this is the vintage one. First, it has a sticker on it that says compliments of KRNA. $1,993, which is a FM station in, I think it was Iowa. So this was given away as a promotion on the radio in the 80s. And it is, in the research I found, it is autographed by the station owner and probably also the morning DJ, if I had to guess, who died tragically a couple years ago. So that's weird.
Oh.
So, but also, more importantly, this has a stamp on the back. I don't know if you can see it. That says it's from the CBS. Does not allow the resale of this album. So this was a free sample to the radio station of the soundtrack. So not only is it vintage, it was a vintage one that, I have a passion for radio. I love radio. People who haven't listened for a while. My first job was in radio. And I basically, I love radio. If I could still do it and make a fair living at it, I would. But yeah, all that stuff together just made me really love this thing. So it's pretty cool. And there's that. So altogether, I'm happy that I have this. It's special to me because of the radio connection, and I know it's vintage. Also, in searching for that...
That's actually really cool how specific of a thing that ends up being.
I know.
Yeah,
so,
really.
Yeah, so I would rather have that than one that was still, like pristine, because, most of them out there are like, pristine like that. But this one right here, just where it makes it, again, being a radio thing, I love radio, I have a passion for it, did it for 15 or 16 years. I love it. So, also, in my searches, didn't expect to find this. So, record singles that came out, or back then, normally on 45s. 45 RPM, it's a smaller record. That's the rate at which the record would play. But
revolutions per minute.
Revolutions per minute, exactly.
Yes.
This is a single. It's the same track on both sides of The Touch by Stan Bush as a 12-inch, 33 RPM. I didn't know this existed a week ago. No idea. I knew there was 45 out there, but I had no idea that a 12-inch, 33 RPM existed. Haven't listened to it yet. But this also has that same stamp from CBS for promotional purposes only. Do not resell.
That's nice. Weird.
Yeah, so no idea this thing existed. So pleased to find that. So that's going up on the wall this weekend. Two last items are toys. I've been doing a rebuy, trying to fill holes in my collection, the things I used to have, trying to refill holes in my heart. So at the same time, I'm trying to rebuy G1. That's not what this first item is, though it sort of is. I found a really good price on this. Probably not much different than what I sold this for probably 10, 12 years ago. But it's an eHobby Megaplex. So Megaplex was the name of the Megatron repaint in Machine Wars. The Blue Jet. Oh. This is Megatron, where the internal, he's like black and brown, and the internal side panels of his legs are blue. So this, of course, is the hobby. It's Japanese, so he actually has the shooting gimmick. So it comes with the pellets and all that. It's sealed. It's Megatron. I don't need to open it. They all transform the same. So, but just very pleased to find this. I found it for 2/3 the price of everybody else selling it on eBay.
Wow.
Yeah. And again, sort of filling a hole in my heart. Rebuying things that I didn't have. And also helping me with G1. Buying G1 up. I decided to start with G1 instead of trying to just fill it randomly. I'm going to start with 1984 and fill in the holes that I don't have. So I started off, I used to have 2 or 3 of these, but in parting with stuff, I ended up with 0 of them. So I went ahead and, ironically, bought a Megatron. So it is, like I said, I don't collect a lot of mint and box stuff. The box is kind of beat up, but I don't collect a lot of box G1 stuff. So whenever I get a box Transformer, I'm like, G1, I'm like, ooh, neat box. So, toy's in great shape. The box is in okay shape. I'll probably get a boxed Optimus because I've got. It's funny. Like I have so many G1 Optimus Primes, but I can't. I think I have one that's not a junker. I might not even have an original Optimus Prime from G1 that's not a junker. But I've got a couple junkers. So I think I'll go for a pretty minty fresh G1 Optimus in the box to go with this, and then can finish off 84 with probably loose stuff. So there's that. That's what I got this week. Pretty happy. Oh, Brian needs to start with Diaclone. Oh, believe me. I've thought about it. I've been pricing Diaclone for months now. Yeah.
It just kind of makes you sad inside, doesn't it?
Well, there's some stuff that's reasonable-ish. But there's most of it's not.
Yeah.
Most of it's not. So I found...
The interesting stuff is not, yeah.
I found a Battle Convoy on eBay for like $450, but that's not even in the box. So... yeah.
Yeah.
So... yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, I think Diaclone is gonna stay more a dream than a goal.
Yeah, like I love Transformers, and even though it's the precursor, it's still not branded Transformers, so I think I can live with it.
You can
live with it. Yes, there you go. Okay, so God, lots of news. This show will probably run 5 hours. Earthrise Dirge.
Well, once or twice a year.
Yeah. Earthrise Dirge revealed a leaked sample. So this popped up during all that new stuff last week and pretty much just got buried because of all the things. But this is a Dirge missing an arm.
Who broke it? Who broke the sample?
I don't know.
I mean, that's probably why the person ended up with it in the first place, because it broke in the factory and they took it off the trash pile.
Yeah.
Like we all, maybe not all of us, but a lot of us have the first-hand experience of like the stuff you get through, let's say, non-conventional channels typically has signs of being a factory reject at one point or another.
I've never actually purchased anything like that, believe it or not.
I should have.
Yeah, that's why I said most of us.
Yeah.
I should have been able to buy this off Taobao.
Yes, you could have.
Well, keep looking.
But it
I
has.
gotta go check.
So is that So it's obviously it's a cone head, but is it the same face sculpt that's just like embedded in there, or how does that work?
So I don't think that cone is the actual jet nose cone. I think it's a fake cone.
Yeah, it looks like a fake cone. Yeah,
it looks like the regular nose cone is folded up behind it from that picture.
Yeah.
I don't think we have enough information yet to know for sure whether, that there's a head cone that a face piece fits into, or if the face and cone are all sculpted as one unit and the face is painted inside that. Because, so far, what we have for visual evidence of the Conehead toys is this one-armed dirge and a thrust, which I think was also missing some parts. Or something.
Yeah.
So, we haven't had a really
It was in jet mode. The thrust was in jet mode.
We saw enough of the thrust to be able to make connections between the new molding that is present on both it and this dirge, which is different details from Starscream, Skywarp, and Thundercracker that we've seen, including that there's mounting points on the legs for wing elements, which Dirge has the wings attached to the legs correctly, where Matt will, of course, affirm that Thrust has the wings attached in the wrong place.
Incorrectly, yes.
And has the horizontal stabilizers attached at the legs because jet layout.
G1 at least had the good manners of doing the Seekers, the first three and the second three across 2 years.
Yeah.
It's like Earthrise is just it's all out there. It's like it's naked in its ambition.
Siege gave us 8 within 1 year.
Yeah.
I was going to say they did do the first 3 last year. They're just doing them again this year.
Yeah. So I can't wait to own this. Eventually. Yeah.
I can wait to own it. I will own it, but I can wait.
So no sign of a ramjet?
Not so far.
It's got to be out there somewhere.
Probably. like that's just going to depend how these are being made and sold. If so, we had the inventory data dump from Canada several months ago that indicated thrust as being an individual item. We don't have any sign like that for Dirge or Ramjet, as far as I can recall off the top of my head. So we don't know if there's going to be some kind of individual releases as exclusives or selects, or they might come in a 2-pack together the way Thundercracker and Skywarp are. If they're going to be released side by side like that, you'd have to assume if Dirge is being produced now, Ramjet probably is too, and it's just a matter of time before a sample of that leaks out.
Yeah. So cool. Let's see here. Generation Select Centurion drone weaponizer stock photos. So this was something that went up for sale last week.
Yeah. So I mean, it was revealed after the show last week, but by showtime last week, we had that leaked picture of the Centurion figure itself. That there was debate about whether it was a custom or not. You may recall I was correctly in the camp of that it was an actual thing because the gray looked like plastic and not paint.
Yes, sir.
And it's great that this exists and all, but it's not even like the important part of it existing. It comes with a pack of accessories for Generations figures,
which is weird, but welcomed.
Yeah,
yes. I'm excited about it.
I like.
You know what's even more welcome?
What?
I was able to order 2 of them when they were still $19.99 each, before they got up to the correct price of $29.99 each.
I only ordered 1, but at that price, thankfully.
Yeah.
I missed it at that price.
Crunson said, Chris pointing out that he was correct. Drink.
Yes. Also, while we're at it, I was correct in that they always pack accessory sets or weird extras in with their troop builder figures to bring the price up on something you're going to want to buy more than one of.
Yeah.
I do like that we're getting a roller for Earthrise Prime.
Yeah. In a jet.
I mean, I got that non-F Earthrise Prime upgrade kit pre-ordered, which is supposed to start shipping soon, actually. And I'm glad this official one exists for people who don't want to go in for a whole kit like that. On the other hand, I'm going to have this non-F one months before this comes out, so...
Yeah.
I really expected Hasbro to work in one as like a Micromaster or something, though.
I was kind of expecting that, too.
What's up with the Optimus Prime cannon, though?
It's just, an Optimus Prime rifle that doesn't fold in half for storage like the one that comes with the Earthrise toy.
Looks like it's probably larger than the one that comes with the Earthrise.
It's definitely longer.
There's a couple other little things here. Well, what does the dish go to?
Trailbreaker.
Yeah, Trailbreaker's radar satellite dish thing.
And we don't even have Trailbreaker yet.
Yeah.
You've got Ironhide's drill.
Yeah, so that's a good point, Diecast, that we don't have Trailbreaker yet. We know Trailbreaker exists and is coming, but there's things in here like a Bumblebee pistol. We don't have a Bumblebee or official word that one's coming. Right. But there's the Ironhide drill gun thing, and we know unofficially that Ironhide is coming out in Earthrise. We can assume stuff that goes to a specific character in here that we don't know about yet is coming in the toy line, and that's why it's in the package.
Yeah. What is that little piece above the Bumblebee gun, or the hubcap gun, since we have heard about hubcap unofficially? The little piece right above the Bumblebee gun.
Which one? The Bumblebee gun. The picture is so small on here.
Okay, diagonal.
Is it the reflector camera you're looking at?
Yeah, but I'm just wondering. I couldn't tell if that was it or if it was a part for Optimus or what it was.
It is a scale reflector or refractor, if you prefer, that figures can hold.
It's got a 5mm post off the bottom of it.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
I thought it was something like how Optimus had like the little gas pump attachment. I thought that was something along those lines or something.
Damn it! Where's our gas pump attachment?
There is an Optimus Prime in this pack of accessories, though. Can you see it?
This
it's those 3 little pixels
Unicron
on the
one,
right.
yeah. That will be lost.
blaster mode of Megatron is the first time I've seen a Megatron gun without the stock. So
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that'd be well.
Yeah. There's just no way to do that.
I mean, it depends how you count this.
Well, like
yeah.
Megatron.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there are technically 4 Decepticons in this accessory pack.
Yeah, Soundwave,
Megatron,
Shockwave, and Reflector.
Yeah.
The one thing I really can't quite tell is what that is to the left of the dish. It looks,
That's
Soundwave.
okay, that's Soundwave. Okay,
Soundwave is fully painted.
Oh, okay.
That's why.
So you can put him in the back of Ironhide. When you get Ironhide, you can put him in the back of Ironhide.
Conceivably.
Yeah.
Although by that token, I want there now to be a little laser beak in the scale to put on Braun's shoulder.
I just want to say
that
now.
needs to come in the next Troop Builder pack.
Yeah. It's only tangentially related to what we're talking about here, but I've been muted. While we've been talking, I just needed to fidget, so I pulled Earthrise Optimus, and I've been transforming it. And this is like my favorite transformation for a G1 Optimus Prime character since like
it's
G1.
Really interesting, isn't it?
Great.
Yeah.
It's great.
I should have mine tomorrow.
Congratulations.
Good,
it's a wonderful toy. Cool. Okay.
I'm just amazed it's showing up before the non-F kit, but that had some twists and turns in production.
Yeah, non-F had some machine problems and then some storm problems, but the first batch of those upgrade kits is supposed to be going out today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
Again, tangentially related. But no, that whole Centurion thing was a really cool surprise. Like, having that leak a couple days before, we all know how that feels, but then, they pull it out and reveal this whole other thing with it that makes it still, like, special and amazing again, and I was all for that.
Yeah. Also, I just like accessory packs. There are never enough of those.
Well, and that's something they called out, too, on the stream. Like, Transformers fandom has been asking for accessory packs to be an obtainable thing for basically ever. And while this may not be exactly what people had in mind, where they have to buy a $20 figure with their $10 accessory pack.
Have we ever gotten one?
No.
Yeah.
It's a step in the right direction. The closest thing probably to this would be, I think 3H did, either 3H or like the first year of Fun Pub, they did different colorways of the Energon weapons from the Omnicons.
Yeah, okay.
But again, that would be exclusive to a convention, and it's not exactly comparable.
Yeah.
Because these are all new things. These aren't reused elements from elsewhere.
Well, I mean, I like the reused element stuff. I mean, G.I. Joe did it, Masters of the Universe did it.
Yeah, that's fine too. I'm just saying, like, these are all new things, so it makes it that extra step more different from what we've had before that can be considered like this.
So since last week, we had photos of Red Studio Red, whatever the hell we want to call
Collection.
it. Red Collection.
Red Collection appears to be the official full name of it.
Optimus and Megatron. But Friday after the show, Thursday after the show, Soundwave popped up as well.
Soundwave popped up in leaked stock photos like 6 hours before the Friday stream.
What do you guys think about it?
Something looks weird about it.
Yeah, the legs.
They all
the
look
legs
weird
are
to me.
miscolored again. Based on
Yeah, I recognize that fact, but like something about the overall proportions of it is reading weird to me. I don't know if that's just me or if it's some misinterpretation of the source material besides the light coloring.
The legs are a little longish.
And the arms look a little tiny, but that may just be a trick of photography.
Yeah. It also, of course, has the same problem that Prime does of having a clear chest window, which...
Yeah.
Well, at least he has a laser beak to go behind that clear chest window, though.
That is something, yeah.
Yes, but like, for the fact that these are supposed to be the Sunbowiest Transformers toys to ever Sunbow, my words, not Hasbro's, when did you ever see Laserbeak behind Soundwave's chest window in the cartoon?
Very rarely, but it was a thing. I am more willing to accept it on Soundwave than Optimus Prime.
That's fair. That's fair. Yes. But yeah, the legs are miscolored because once again they use as a color reference a fan-colored model sheet that got Soundwave's leg color wrong. Much to Chris McFeely's consternation and growing annoyance just because nobody's paying attention, which I think is Chris McFeely's consternation too.
I'm still upset there's no basketball for Optimus.
Yeah, that too.
But for being the most Sunbowy Transformers, there's just something off about those antennae on Optimus's head. Maybe.
Oh yeah.
It just looks weird to me. Maybe it's because they look curved.
Yeah, I think like if you're using a two-dimensional source for reference, it's hard to reproduce something to look right in 3 dimensions in all planes.
Yeah, and
in an odd way, that's a thing that happens with Power Rangers toys also, even though the quote prototypical forms for those all exist as 3-dimensional objects. There's a lot of Power Ranger helmets that just never get rendered right as action figures because when they're making them, they're working from pictures rather than a sculptor or a CAD designer having a helmet in front of them that they can turn all which way. The MMPR Red Ranger helmet is notorious. For that. The Lightning Collection, I think, got the closest, but it just kind of got shot in the foot because they didn't paint it enough to actually make the shapes look right.
A lot of the Mighty Morphin helmets are just ever so slightly wrong in the Lightning Collection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we digress again.
So also from Friday, Tiger Track and Rotor Storm. We didn't know about these last week, did we?
We did not. So going into the Fan First Friday stream, I assumed, like a lot of other people did, that they were going to reveal Exhaust and Grease Pit because those popped up on eBay the day before.
Yeah.
Rotor Storm has been rumored for quite some time now. This is the first we've actually seen it, though.
Yeah.
And it's the first we've even heard of Tiger Track.
Yeah.
And Rotor Storm is just a straight-up repaint. There's no new head sculpt or anything, even though the
product copy claims there is.
Yeah, I like Rotor Storm. Like, this is one of the things I've been asking for forever is, give me some Euro G1 stuff.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Euro G1, G2. So, I mean, the mold is not a perfect translation to Rotor Storm.
Oh, I'm fine with it.
From Spinister, but it is a fantastic mold. So, I was willing to look beyond that. I was absolutely going to get this no matter what. I am a little disappointed that it's just the straight up Spinister head, though, because that is a very, very Decepticon looking head.
Yeah. So I want to point something out here, which is kind of a quirk of the mold they're using and also the design they're trying to go for. So Spinister already had 2 cockpits on the toy because of a specific form of character model that they were trying to emulate with this. Now Rotor Storm had the cockpit on the robot chest, so they've actually
different transformation.
They've actually painted the chest sculpting on Spinister to look like the cockpit that should be on Rotor Storm's chest. So in effect, now they have given this mold a 3rd helicopter cockpit.
Yeah.
I 100% expected that to happen because I've been looking at Spinister ever since I got it, and Rotor Storm was announced, and I'm like, they're just gonna paint the cockpit right on there. But again, I was fine with it. I'm just
pointing out for the absurdity of the whole thing. Like this toy that already had an extraneous cockpit for purely aesthetic reasons now has a 3rd pseudo cockpit for purely aesthetic reasons.
Well, now that it's got 3
just
cockpits.
Wish they would. Yeah, I just wish it would have had a new head.
Yeah. Well, 2 things. Now that it's got 3 cockpits, it can be repainted into a G.I. Joe Cobra Mamba because it had 3 cockpits.
Yeah, Don, you're right.
And also, Brian, I was trying to get unmuted. I believe TF Info posted that the red figures are up for pre-order at Walmart.
Yeah,
they're Walmart exclusives, actually.
Yeah, they're Walmart exclusive. They've been up and down for the last week.
Yeah,
that was the first I've seen notification. I just wanted to bring that up.
Back to Tiger Tracks.
Okay.
If we can for a second.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay, so we're getting all the Seekers. It looks like we're getting a lot of the cars, at least the Lambos and the Prowl. Are we going to get a Sunstreaker while this is going on? I mean,
there is a Sunstreaker. That's in Wave 3, I think.
3.
Oh, there is a Sunstreaker.
Yeah,
he's in the same. He's in the same wave as Fast Track, I think, and Trailbreaker.
Yeah. No, Fast Track is in the wave with Run Amok. which might be the same wave as
Okay.
Trailbreaker,
Well,
Sunstreaker,
well,
next week,
I believe
but
Sunstreaker's coming out alongside
Wheeljack
Trailbreaker.
Because all I know is
due around November.
and forgive me for forgetting because I've only had
there's so
Wave
much stuff.
1 in my hand, and
Yeah.
now Wave 2 isn't even out, and I'm not even thinking about Wave 3
Yeah.
yet.
This year, man, I'm telling you, this year.
Yeah.
No, so like there is a Sunstreaker, and now that we are getting Tiger Track in Generation Selects, I will say again in slightly lighter words what I said on Twitter after that stream. We better damn well get a spin out as a Selects.
That is the only reason I ordered Tiger Tracks is because I want to spin out to go along with it.
And Neschalk
This will
pointed
be
out.
this will be the first of this Sideswipe mold I own. Actually,
Yeah, Neschalk pointed
okay.
out there's no battle
Everything
damage on
else.
it, so that's probably why.
Oh, good.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the only thing this is really missing is the roof sticker that Toy Hacks makes for this mold. So I have, thanks to Hey Mickey having spares, I have Red Alert and Sideswipe from Siege with opaque car roofs now, and let me tell you, it dresses up that mold so well. Just adding that one thing to it, I will have to get that done for Tiger Track as well.
Yeah.
Can we get a
Tiger-
clamp down?
Maybe later.
Yeah.
So Tiger Track uses Sideswipe's head. It has Sideswipe's shoulder launcher thing and Red Alert's rifle. So, like, of the whole accessory pool, it's using a combination of two of them that have not been used together with this mold before.
It's cool. So,
But there's no actual new parts, just like Spinister. Now the other thing which I alluded to much earlier because this is a long show. These are like number 18 and 19 in the Generation Select series for War for Cybertron. Exhaust and Grease Pit are 11 and 12. So they've jumped ahead quite far because the last one before this they officially acknowledged was Spy Patrol Unit 3, which was number 10. So even after Grease Pit and Exhaust come out, there's still like 6 Generation Selects, which we know what they all are basically from the data mining, just not what sequence. But yeah, there's a lot more Selects coming this year now that we know 18 and 19 are due in either October or November.
Okay, so pure speculation on my part, but maybe we got these so early because they knew everything else was already leaked. So, like, let's give them something that they don't know about, and that's why they dropped these on Friday. Friday.
I think the way I want to characterize this is that numbers, well, I guess probably technically 11 through 17 probably were going to be revealed over the course of some of them during SDCC weekend, and then probably a few more during the summer after that point through, Facebook or Instagram or whatever, non-live stream or non-interactive methods.
Comic-Con.
And, well, I mean, if these are supposed to come out in November, that's short notice, but they could have planned these to be see now, buy now, or see now, pre-order now, and not reveal them quite this early. That's entirely possible. My overall point in this, though, is just that, like, there's a lot of Generation Selects toys coming in the next 4.5 months.
so much.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting increasingly less okay with that
Yeah.
as I'm seeing these numbers go up.
So, Earthrise, Alternate Universe Optimus Prime. We have official stock photos. It should be shipping here in a couple weeks from tfradio.net/deadprime. tfradio.net/deadprime lowercase. He is a very dead Optimus Prime. We've seen this before. Did we
He's
get
still available,
Yeah,
which amazes me.
Did we get clarification on what it's actually really supposed to be? It's supposed to be something that's going to show up later in
In the Netflix series, I think.
Yeah, they said it's connected to that, which, in that case, this is probably very literally alternate universe Optimus Prime, where somehow the Optimus Prime native to that series gets a vision or contact with another universe where he's died, and that's probably some kind of motivating thing.
He has the beat up head from the G1 movie, and I think like a tampo of the scar from where it gets stabbed in the side. So it's clearly supposed to be the Optimus Prime from the G1 movie.
So yeah, that's cool. Let's see here. It's $60, $50, and will be released on July 15th, supposedly. So 2 weeks from today.
Yeah, I think once this sells out, once this sells out on Amazon, it's going to be done. They're not going to get like extra stock on this because I'm surprised it lasted this long.
Yeah, sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. The best example of one and done, or close to one and done, that I can remember is the Amazon 30th Unicron. It came out.
That was done real fast, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm pricing one right now, so
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Wasn't there another Prime Day recently?
Probably the Prime's Nemesis Prime.
Yeah.
And like that hung around for a little bit, but then once they sold through that, like the price started shooting up pretty quickly, and of course it never came back because any run of any exclusive is almost always one and done, because like the lead time for production is so great that if somebody did want to try to get another one made, they're not going to have it until next year.
Yeah,
and this is supposed to coincide with Prime Day, I've heard. I don't know if the 15th is going to be Prime Day, or
I need to take that day off if it is. There's a joke. I tried to.
So like they do like vary when Prime Day is, don't they? Like they do special announcements to tell people when they're actually going to do it, and they haven't done that yet, have they?
I will say this. As someone who worked for a major retailer for years in a supply chain, merchandising, strategic capacity, Prime Day has become a major holiday for all retailers, not just Amazon. It's ridiculous. So,
well, yeah, because they're trying to compete.
Yep,
so.
It's a huge day. It's just amazing what Amazon's been able to do. So, speaking of major retailers, Walmart, this is something else from last week. I don't think there's anything else left to cover from Fan First Friday. Maybe I'm wrong. But G1 Blaster, that's the next reissue. It's being released from Amazon from Walmart for $30. And people are speculating it's because of the tapes. It may be partly that, but also there's less metal in this. It's way more simplistic.
Blaster had very little metal as opposed to.
There's a lot of empty space.
Yeah.
It's still a big toy.
Yeah, it is big.
For them to do it at $30 compared to what the other reissues have had.
I hope.
Yeah,
I hope there are still Astro Trains on the shelf when Blaster hits.
Yeah, when you look at Astro Train, who's like this tall, and Blaster
$40.
Yeah.
So I initially thought this was a price mistake.
So it's been up for $30 since it posted a week ago.
A week. Yeah. So
looking at
now I'm not sure.
Looking at the legs and the buttons, is that the correct color? So like the San Diego Comic-Con reissue that came out was brownish, as opposed to, it's hard to tell on my monitor.
But there's one or two photos that it looks a little bit more silver.
Yeah.
So like
I think it's lighting though.
Yeah, I hope it's not brown like that, because that's.
It's honestly, it's fine either way. I've got different versions of it, but
I can see as you're flipping through those. So I'll tell you what's going on. There is the white balance on the camera changed between shots.
Okay.
Which means there's actually no way to tell which of those is correct.
Till you get it. So it's fine either way. It looks okay in both.
I hope they do release the cassettes as well.
I would imagine they will, the same way they release most of Soundwave's cassettes. They'll just be 2-packs that they haven't announced yet.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with
Blaster's cassettes weren't as well known as Soundwave.
And Blaster didn't come with cassettes.
No, I think
he was out for a year before he got cassettes.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's also possible, like, a pack of cassettes for Blaster would be a pulse thing like the Dino cassettes were.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
for the hardcores to get them.
Let's not talk about the Pulse Dino cassettes, please.
Yeah.
I know. Yes, I know. It was a tragedy. And,
I'm sorry.
You know, yeah.
How much do those sell for now?
Too much.
God.
Really?
I wanted the mint on sold card one.
I wanted the molds that they didn't release with those bumblebees.
Ooh. Oh, those are just third party. I don't know if it's knockoffs.
Probably.
Actually, there are knockoffs of the cassettes. It looks like. I know that some knockoffs exist and have existed for years. Oh, Brian, that says $250, not $25. Never mind. Yeah, those are the knockoffs I know about.
That's a difference.
Yeah.
So one last thing to note before we move off of the news. There's not an article for this. Rescue Bots Academy is ending after its second season wraps.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a shame.
So after a lot of years, Rescue Bots as an entire thing, I guess, is coming to a conclusion.
Ooh. Okay. That's sad. Okay.
It's not entirely unexpected though, since Hasbro is shifting like all their media production stuff to the studios and such they acquired with Entertainment One last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, hey.
Like even Power Rangers is getting a changeover on the production side. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Oh, wow.
So I mentioned again Amazon's link to Dead Prime. There's also, Don pointed out, right now Double Dealer. tfradio.net/double dealer. It looks like it's about $7 off. It says it's going to ship this month. That can't be right, can it?
Some people have been getting updates to their pre-orders saying that the shipping range is now sometime between mid-July and early August. It seems kind of sporadic whether you get one of those or not. I got one today for Studio Series Cybertron Cliffjumper.
Okay.
Falling within that same date range. But like all my Generations pre-orders that have been existing since Toy Fair Day have still kept their original dates. Although my Double Dealer is now down to $43-ish because the main price dropped. So that's nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so tfradio.net/dead prime, tfradio.net/double dealer, tfradio.net/Amazon for whatever helps make sure that the lights stay on, Chris and Rob get paid, and all that stuff.
That's very important to me.
Yes. Also, our Patreon, patreon.com/tfradio. We want to thank our touched patrons. Oh yeah, tfradio.net/shirt as well. So we have our t-shirt store. A lot of great designs out there. Super stoked. Love that stuff. Also, I lost my mask, so I need to find it or order another one. Because I got a lot of great compliments on that, but I have no idea where it is. I've been wearing my plain old black mask. But our touched patrons, Kevin Dorsey, Sean Bratton, Jacob Owen Lucia, Sean Hamilton, Jason W. Rye, Mike Mallory, Jason Hiley, Jonathan James, Matthew Deadman, Hector Bones, Nathan Stampy, Spider Bob, Rabbits, Emmett Sresovich, Gaming Fix, Patrick Davidson, Joey Russell. Thank you guys so much. You can be found at tfradio.net/credits. And again, you help make this happen. Make sure Chris and Rob get paid. Important stuff like that. It's awesome. Of course, again, patreon.com/tfradio. We're also on Twitter, tfradio, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Roku, Fire TV. You know all that stuff. Hey, leave us a review. We don't mention it often, but if you listen somewhere and you can leave a review, leave a review. It helps people find us.
Leave a good review.
Leave a good review, yeah. Hey, we've been around for 20 years. We deserve a good review. If you don't use our Amazon link or Patreon, you're listening to the show. This is like an hour and a half or hour 45 minutes. Listen, while you're listening to the show, leave a review. It's easy. tfradio.net/681 is how you can find the links mentioned in this episode. You can leave us a voicemail at 931-99-GO-BOT, 931-994-6268, or contact at tfradio.net. There's lots of ways to get a hold of us. Rob Springer not here. He's at zonebase.org and at RoboRobSpringer. I'm personally on Twitter at bkilby and on Instagram at Brian Kilby. And I posted a new episode of the Happy Daily this week, even so it's not necessarily daily. But you can find that at briankilby.com. It was a chance for me to play around with the little piece of equipment that I got. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Or hopefully not. Kim hated it. I know that I have an episode that I think is pretty good when Kim really hates it, and she hated it so much. That's how I gauge it. So no joke. That's when she hates it. It's something special. Rob, how do people get a hold of you?
On Twitter, go to Figure Reviewers or Rob Flails. On YouTube, Flailthroughs, which is where I cover Gundam Battle Operation 2, which free-to-play Gundam game for the PS4, coming up on its second anniversary sometime this month. So no idea what kind of weirdness they will add, but it should be impressive because it usually is. If you like what I do there, patreon.com/flailthroughs. You can throw me a couple of bucks and request specific mobile suits and things. And of course, I do have the Amazon wish list at tfradio.net/claylist if anybody feels like, throwing stuff at me.
Sweet.
There are heavy objects on there if you want to throw those at me.
But in a nice way.
I mean, possibly. I mean, who knows?
Throw heavy things at you out of kindness.
Yes.
Cool. Let's see here. Chris.
I'm going to actually start this time by plugging my personal Twitter because 2 reasons. First, I'm selling some stuff right now, so go there and find my sales list. I'm at least retweeting it every day, if not updating it. I'd like to get some of that stuff moved to, clear out some redundancies, and also I would really like to be able to add another specialty camera lens to my kit, and that camera lenses are expensive. They're often more expensive than a camera, although this one's not. I'm not fancy enough with my photography yet to need lenses that cost more than the camera I'm putting them on. Maybe someday if I'm lucky. No. Also, I have been doing what I can to help facilitate people getting the Seeker 2 packs off of Target's website. And
Yes, thank you.
well, I don't necessarily mean the way I helped you, but I'm helping people to see the pattern that works and kind of give people a heads up of when they should start checking and things like that. And I'm still trying to do that as I can, as my hours permit, basically. And I do other kind of stuff like that where I try to help people connect with harder to find retail stuff when it's not competing with tfradio.net/Amazon directly. So you can find all of that kind of stuff I'm doing personally on Twitter at ChrisRTXV. For my photography stuff, I posted 2 galleries today on playwithphotography.com. You can find all the galleries I've done there, articles and such about cameras, toy photography, random toy musing sometimes. Just, all my collected works are on the website. And then on social media, you'll find random pictures I post. As I was working with Grease Pit and Exhaust, I was posting a lot, especially to Twitter at Play With Photos, of different stages through shooting the gallery. There was a lot of Exhaust pictures going up there. Also on Instagram.com/playwithphotography. I did a short series with Grease Pit's alternate mode when I was first messing with that, just because I was so impressed with it. So, if you want to see random stuff like that and sometimes get an inside track on the things I'm working on for full galleries, follow my social media channels. There's usually, when I'm active there, I'm really active there, basically. If you like the stuff I do and you want to help or show some support, anything is so appreciated. I'm so grateful to my patrons who stick with me through all this time. Patreon.com/playwithphotos, just as little as a couple dollars per month, and higher tiers, of course, offer more for you as reward. And I do have an Amazon wish list at tfradio.net/chrislist, which I think covers everything.
Cool. Diecast
is muted. Diecast is muted.
You can see all my reviews, especially my part 1 review on my Studio Cell Unicron at tfradio.net/reviews. You can follow me on Twitter where you can see pictures of all the stuff I get in at Diecast2, and like my Facebook page at Reviews by Diecast.
Cool. John is that John D everywhere. Don.
Hey, I'm selling a few things too, since Chris started it. A bunch of odds and ends, some random stuff that I can let go without having massive regret later on. That's in my timeline as well. You can also find me on Twitter at HMRC, the number 4 EVR.
Cool. Well, I think that's it. We'll see you next week. Have a good one.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for hanging in there with us for this long show where I talk a lot.
Yep. Everyone have a safe and happy 4th of July as well.
Yeah, don't blow your hands off. That's just inconvenient.
Okay. I'm explaining to Insane Galvatron when I blocked him on Twitter. I don't want to say what he said, but it made my head explode. I'm not going to say what it was, but I'll unblock him. I mean, I really genuinely have always liked him, but I think he said something. It's just I've blocked X. I think I blocked XV once. I blocked Triplet. I blocked my brother. So my block list is full of a lot of people. I probably blocked. I wouldn't be surprised if I didn't block one of Sean's accounts. I don't think I did. Sean, you might want to check. I don't think I have.
I blocked Diecast once, but that's
Rob.
That's one of my rare unblocks.
I haven't shared this. I hope it's not a big deal. But just to manage things, sometimes I use block. I blocked Rob on Facebook a long time ago, and I just Rob, I love you, but something popped up, and I'm like, it'd just be easier if we just blocked it. I need to unblock you because the situation's
That's okay.
But yeah, I think it would probably be better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I did have to block Diecast on Twitter, on eBay, because
Take care,
Matt. Yeah, because he was making insulting low bids and pissing me off.
Oh yeah, Don, you might want to undo that just in case I actually see something that I want to buy that you have.
But I have one of my brothers blocked. It's I use block as just a way to manage my own sanity.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So.
And I block people I would deal with happily in person. That just social media I can't deal with very well, and that's on me, not as much as anybody else. So just I always advise everybody to block for their own comfort. Yeah. It's just one of those things.
Yeah, God, I have 2 people in my family that I want to block so bad, but I know when I do, they'll consider it a victory, and I'm not going to let them have it.
Well, I mean, everyone has different views on that because, I won't block someone unless they're I
don't take it personally. I'm blocked by people. I don't give a crap.
I can't deal with them at all.
The only time me being blocked by someone bothers me is when I don't know what I did to get blocked. Now, if I know I've had interactions with this person along a certain line, and then they block me, it's yeah, no, that's yeah, totally. I get that. If I just randomly try to look at someone's profile one day and I'm blocked without any memory of ever having interacted with that person, then it's wait, what? Why?
I'm going to clear out my block right now on Twitter.
Yeah, just knowing Rob blocked me once, I feel bad.
We were arguing about something, Diecast. It was years ago. Don't even worry about it now.
The one reason it doesn't bother me about blocking somebody on Facebook is I am always within half an inch of deleting my Facebook. I hate Facebook. I like sharing pictures. What?
I said I kind of do too.
It's horrible. I hate it.
Yeah.
And I just use it. I hate Facebook. I like sharing pictures of the kids if it wasn't for that. Yeah.
Guys, I'm going to go ahead and follow Matt. I'm going to go ahead and head on out. And Matt, he wants his window up, so I need to keep the racetrack off the podcast.
Okay.
All right, so y'all have a good night. Take care, everybody.
Okay.
Take care, Don.
I'm saying Galvatron's unblocked.
I'm a certain way about social media anyway. I'm very, very particular about who I will choose to follow in the first place. So same. I think that cuts down a lot on my need to block people because I just don't follow nearly what do I have right now? Maybe 350 people I follow. And I bet you at least a third of those accounts probably are not even active anymore because, people I followed for over the last 11 years, and people just end up falling off of Twitter at various points, and I don't really go through and clean out my follows.
Yeah. I never really bother with that either.
There's no point, because if somebody's a problem, I'm going to block them, or at least, choose to unfollow them at that point. If I don't have to do that, then it doesn't matter if I'm following them or not.
So I have
but I definitely...
Go ahead.
I definitely don't agree with the people who believe that blocking is a sign of weakness, or that somebody else has won the debate, because nobody else is entitled to your time. That's just the long and short of it. So, just like I said, block freely and try to enjoy Twitter as much as possible.
That gets more and more difficult, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
I enjoy Twitter because if you see a whole bunch of posts that you don't like, you just wait a day or two and you won't see them anymore.
Or you'll see a whole fresh batch of the same thing the next day.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible.
Yeah. Sadly so.
Oops.
But then I just usually take a Twitter break for the day.
Well, there you go.
So I did buy or order Double Dealer, because I don't think I have that ordered on Pulse, but I'm not sure.
And then we fast forward a month or so, and Diecast has 3 of them.
Yeah, it's really hard to figure out what you have on order with Pulse.
Oh god, it sucks.
Yeah. I wish that was one thing they'd get better at. Like, I love Amazon, because Amazon, you can go on view unfulfilled orders, and they have a picture next to the order number, so you know what it is.
I feel like Hasbro Toy Shop had a better back end for like tracking and managing your orders.
Probably.
Crunton points out his name is Double Dealer, so you have to have 2.
Oh, good point.
Yes.
One in Autobot mode and one in Decepticon mode, I guess. Plus, if you got the Spy Patrol Unit 3, you have his 2 Power Masters, so you need 1 Double Dealer for each one.
Brian, the important question: did you order a Pimp Destro?
Oh yeah, of course. Profit Director Destro.
I can't believe that's just like a retail product.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
Is it retail?
It is retail.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was retail. I thought it was like, because it's $24.99. It's like an odd price point. Because the 6-inch Joes are usually $19.99. That's what.
Well, it's certainly not like an event exclusive, so. Although it certainly has the look and feel of something that was supposed to be San Diego.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to ask Matt. I think he said he didn't like the lighter blue Cobra Commander, but that's the one I'm kind of drawn to for some reason.
I believe you're correct. He did not appreciate vibrant dress uniform Cobra Commander.
But
I forget. They have a specific name for that version. I just don't remember what it is.
Regal.
Well, it's not the first word I would use for it, but okay.
Yeah, but he comes out. When does he come out? I think I saw he came out in 12/15. So he comes out in December, and like the darker colored one comes out in like November.
September.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the bright colored one you can order through July 31st, and I guess then, like you said, that'll come out in December. So there's time to decide about that, but then afterward you're going to be waiting a bit. So it sounds like something they're producing to order.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I think that's...
Yeah. Hey, people watching live, I'm going to go ahead and kill the stream, so we'll see you.
Yeah, good plan. We're tired.
Next week. Yeah, we're sleepy. See ya. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Take care, everybody.